I'm JV Narendra Kumar, Assistant Professor in Department of Science and Technology. I came to the mentioning today's topic is symmetric and asymmetric encryption. This is in the course of BTech final year. Course name is cryptography and network security, and it is also in the DETCS 6th semester, which is Introduction to Network Security and Cryptography. So, when we talk about the symmetric and asymmetric encryption, first thing comes to mind: what is the encryption techniques? So, when we talk about any kind of encryption, so what is the main thing? So there is a plain text. If two entities want to communicate, they want to communicate securely. So the text must be sent to the receiver in a form that anyone else cannot recognize. So when we talk about the symmetric key, there is a common key which is used for encryption and decryption both. When we talk about the whole process, so first is the sender. What is this? It has a plain text that I named as PT. This is processed through the encryption function. Now the encryption function can be anything. We are not defining here, but it can be a mathematical function or something else. So here we are using a key that is shared key. We can say the sender and receiver key. Sender and receiver. Now the output of this is by ciphertext. Then it goes from a network. This is the network. Then here at the receiver side, there is ciphertext. Now this ciphertext is processed through the decryption code. So this decryption is done by using the same key which is used to encrypt that plain text. So when we use the key KSR, and the output will be the plain text. Which one? Here, this plain text. Now this is at the receiver side. So when we talk about what will be in the hand of receiver, these things will be at center, and these things will be at receiver side. We can say this is center. Okay. So here, when we talk about the symmetric cryptography, a common shared key is used for that. So this is used to encryption and decryption as well. Now, there is a thing that in symmetric cryptography, the same key is used, as I told you. The sender use this for the encryption and receiver use this for the decryption. Key is already shared, and the algorithms are data encryption standard and 3D, as we can say. So these are algorithms. Now, when we talk about the symmetric cryptography, so there are some advantages and some disadvantages also. Like it is simple and faster. You can say it is simple, just like we have seen. It is simple to encrypt the plain text and decrypt the plain text using the same key. Faster, when we talk about other algorithms or something like that, so we found that this is the faster process just because we are using this one key here. We are not using another key. So when we talk about the asymmetric key, we will talk in detail. Now, what are some disadvantages? So the first thing is we are ensuring here that there is a shared key and the sender and receiver can send and receive the data securely. But what is the matter of security of that key when it is shared? When the key is shared, is the secure or not, or it was some kind of like someone stole it or not. We must ensure that the key action is in a secure way. If it's transferred in a secure, unsecure way, then a hacker can hack that. Now, what is the thing next? Asymmetric cryptography. So, when we talk about asymmetric key, there are two keys, public and private key. So this is a key pair. So when we talk about the asymmetric cryptography, there must be a key pair. So if one is used for encryption, the second one is used for decryption. And when it is used for decryption, this is used for encryption. It goes like this. Okay. So here is the sender or here is the receiver. So we have key pairs for both. Like here else have a public key and a private key. So we denote AU for the public key and AR for private key. So we can say Alice AUA KRA. So this is the key pair. This is the key pair for A, and this is the key pair for Bob or B. So here we see something different. Just like the encryption is done by the public key, then the decryption is done by the private key. It's like public key is the encryption of any particular thing, and here is decryption. So when we talk about these, a single key cannot be used, and we are using the public key cryptography method, like asymmetric key cryptography. So when A want to send anything to B securely, securely uh, and want to ensure that the message or the data must be shared as it is, must not be changed somewhere, or no one else can see that data. So what we ensure that it will encrypt with the public key of B or the receiver, and the receiver will decrypt that message with the private key. That means it only can be decrypted with the private key of receiver. So must be the confidential things here. So we can say when we use the public key for the encryption of the public key of the receiver for encryption, it is ensuring the confidentiality. What we say, it is ensuring confidentiality. Okay. So here, when we use the public key of receiver for encryption, and receiver decrypts with the private key, then this ensures the confidentiality just because all the members or all entities in the network are having the public key of every other entity, but not the private key. So when we encrypt with the public key, it must be decrypted with the private key. And but there is one more thing that if we are using someone's public key, then the key pair of that key will decrypt the data. Now, when we talk about the asymmetric key or the public key, the cipher uses two keys, one is private and one is public. The private and one public. Okay. Now, when we talk about the asymmetric key cryptography or the public key cryptography, two different key are used, and users get become certificate authority. So there is this thing, the key is generated, the key is not generated here or not, because we just generate the key from a source, and this is called a certificate authority. So we will talk about it later. Now, what are the advantages? It is more secure and we can do the authentication here. Just like I discussed about the confidentiality. So how the authentication is done here. So when the sender and here is the receiver, when the sender is sending something to the receiver, so only it can decrypt it while receiving, other one reject that. When as or a sender want to uh, prove himself, just like if I'm this or what is my identity, then the private key is used here. So it will encrypt anything with the private key, encrypt anything with this key, and then send to the network. So anyone else can see that message or something like that. So they can decrypt it and can see it by using the public key of S or sender. So all the members in the network have the public key, so they can easily can. Now, what is the disadvantage of this? This is relatively complex rather than the symmetric cryptography. So this is the only one disadvantage. Now we have seen both the things. Now what are the comparison between these two? So the first thing is in the symmetric key, the key is same. Okay, but in this encryption and decryption done by different keys. Okay. Now, when we talk about the asymmetric encryption, so there's two keys. Decrypt one is used to encrypt the data, and another for decrypt the data. One is named public key and distributed freely in the network, and the other is named private key and is kept hidden or must be kept as the private key. So both sender and recipient has to set their public keys for encryption and has to use the private keys for decryption. So this is a common terminology. Just like we want to authenticate or just we want to keep the thing confidential here. So we just use the public key for encryption and private key for decryption. So that there is the only concept which is not. But the thing is when we encrypt with our private key, so it is considered in the some kind of digital signatures or uh, we can say electronic signature is there. So when we do that, so we need the private key to ensure or prove our identity there. So that is the thing. How it works? It's like when a key is given to the sender, then the sender uses your public key to encrypt that plain text. It's like I am here and I am giving the key to the public, like I'm broadcasting, like this is my public key, you can type it if you send something, then just encrypt with this key and send it to me. So this one to send something, so this will use the public key of this and send it here. Then sender uses your public key, encrypt the plain text. So this is the thing. Now sender gives you the ciphertext to you, and the ciphertext gives to you, and then use the private key, the passphrase or decrypt the ciphertext. It's like when we receive the ciphertext, we need to decrypt it. So what is the key here? When we talk about the asymmetric key, then this is the public key and this is the private key. So this is the thing. Now, when we talk about the asymmetric encryption, so the public key to encrypt the data and private key to encrypt the data. So we talk about so these keys are generated together. So I talked about the key pair. These are generated together and kept like that. The public key is distributed clearly between sender and receiver, everyone, and the private key is kept hidden. The private key is used for decryption and will not be shared between the sender and receiver. So this is the key which is kept privately here. Now these are the algorithms, the RSA, digital signature algorithm, and different algorithms. So these are for the asymmetric encryption. When we categorize these, so when we compare, asymmetric is the fast and this is slower. So these are some differences here. Thank you.